Hi guys, today we will discuss on cloud service offerings. Okay, so if you see here, there are actually three kinds of cloud service offerings. So one is, you can say, IaaS, PaaS, and another one is SaaS, SaaS, right? So there are three kinds of cloud service offerings. One is IaaS. IaaS stands for Infrastructure as a Service, and PaaS stands for Platform as a Service, and SaaS stands for Software as a Service. Okay. So before discussing cloud service offerings, we should have some idea on what exactly virtual machine is. Okay. So if we see here, currently cloud provides different kinds of services, right? So for example, it will provide networking, databases, storages, uh, virtual machines, auto scaling, load balancing, DNS, right? It will provide different kind of services, essentially, which are helpful to run our applications, right? So we will discuss what exactly is the virtual machine is before moving into this topic. Okay. So in current world, the how the architecture is means, like if you see here, there will be one physical server, right, which has its own operating system, which has its own memory, and it has its own disk. Okay. So this is the physical servers. Actually, these are the physical servers. Physical servers are nothing but the one which resides in the data centers, right? So Amazon has its own data centers, right? So in data centers, there are like big racks, vertical racks, which are nothing but the physical servers only, right? So on top of that physical server, we will be having software called hypervisor. Okay. See that hypervisor. Okay. So what exactly is this hypervisor? I will discuss with you. And on top of the hypervisor, we will be having our virtual machines. Okay. So for example, right, let's think that we have three virtual machines. Okay. Virtual machine, okay, one, which has its own operating system, Windows, and think that it has 2 CPU and 4 GB RAM. Okay. And for this virtual machine 2, which has Ubuntu as an operating system, think that it has 4 CPU or some like 16 GB RAM. Okay. And in the same way, this is a virtual machine 3, and it has Linux as an operating system, and it has 2 CPU and 8 GB RAM. Okay. Right. So these are the virtual machines. Let me give a color for this, right? So let's put this one. Let's make the same color. Okay, fine. So on top of this virtual machines, we will be running our applications. Okay. In fact, I'm just naming it as application 1. So I'm naming this as application 2, and I'm naming this as application 3, right? So this is how the architecture is, right? So actually we have this physical server. Okay, on top of this physical server we have hypervisor, and on top of that hypervisor we have our own virtual machines. Okay, on top of that the applications are running. Okay, so what exactly is this hypervisor is? Suppose think that this virtual server is a big rack of virtual server. In a rack there are multiple physical servers, okay, in any data center. So it has its own operating system and all those stuff, RAM and hard disk. Okay, so this hypervisor, it's a kind of a software which is installed in physical servers, okay, on top of physical servers, which will help us to create isolated virtual machines, right? So these are nothing but small machines which will make use of the shared resources of this physical server. Okay, the underlying kernel for all these would be same, but here with the help of this hypervisor we can able to create these virtual machines. Virtual machines are nothing but isolated environments, okay, where we can run our applications. Okay, so definitely we will have a doubt, right? Why can't we directly run our applications on top of this physical server? Okay, so let's see that. Okay, what was the problem with that is, so if you see that, if I'm considering this as one my physical server, okay, and think that I'm running an application before this concept of hypervisor, this is how it is. So I'm running my application here, right? Think that this application is making use of 40% of resources of this physical server. If the RAM of this physical server is 8 GB and this application is just making use of 50% of this, that means 4 GB of RAM, right? And 2 CPU. Then rest of the 50% of the RAM is wasted, right? So because of this, the application, we cannot fully make use of the resources provided by this physical server, right? So definitely with this, we will get a doubt that why can't we run another application, okay, which will make use of the other 50% of the RAM or the resources of this physical server. Here is the problem. Think that if the application one, okay, this is an application one, which requires Java 8, okay, and this is an application 2 which requires Java 7. Technically it won't be possible to have a different versions of Java running on the same physical server, right, or the same machine. So these are the difficulties which we have in our old days. So because of this, we have the concept of this hypervisor. Okay, so as discussed, this hypervisor is a software which helps to create an isolated environments or isolated virtual machines, which we call them as virtual machines. And on top of those virtual machines, we will be creating we will be running our applications. This is how it works. Okay, okay, now what happens if a user is there? Okay, okay, let's take this. Okay, right. So generally what will happen, so AWS will provide the service of for creating our own virtual machines. Okay, so what we will be generally doing while creating a virtual machine, we will create a request for AWS saying that, hey, I need an EC2 instance. The virtual machines are generally called as EC2 instance in AWS, saying that I need a virtual machine with this operating system. Okay, and with this configurations, like I need a virtual machine with 2 CPU, 4 GB of RAM, and also we can provide region where we want our virtual machine is, and also we can provide the availability zone as well. Okay, regions and zones. Then by taking all those configurations provided by the user, what AWS will do, AWS will create a virtual machine in one of the physical servers in the provided availability zone. Okay, then we will host our application. Okay, then we will run our application on top of this virtual machine, right? This is how it works. Yeah, coming back to this, so yeah, I have provided this here. So if you see here, what is the virtual machine? Okay, the virtual machine is the concept of dividing a physical machine into logical machines, right? This helps us to run multiple applications on the same physical host while utilizing the underlying compute resources to the fullest, right? That's what I have discussed here. Okay, so now coming back to this, so what are the available cloud service offerings we have? One is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? So what exactly is this IaaS? IaaS stands for infrastructure as a service. Let's discuss that here. Okay, so think that we have a AWS cloud. Okay, and these things like these three blue boxes, okay, represents physical servers. Okay, now we will be having, as discussed above, we will be definitely having when we request for a virtual machine, we will be having our uh, we will be having virtual machines inside these physical servers. Okay, I'm naming this as virtual machine 1, which has Windows. Okay, and something like 2 GB RAM. Okay, and 4 CPU, right? Right, yes. And on top of this, we will be running our applications, right? That's what we have discussed. Okay, right. So if you see here, let's take a image here. Yeah, let's take this, right? Right, 1 minute. Yeah, so here, yes. So suppose if you consider this as an cloud engineer. Okay, we are requesting for an for a virtual machine. Okay, so as discussed, while requesting for a virtual machine, we will be providing all the details, like all the configuration details for that virtual machine. And then what AWS will do in its cloud, it will create one virtual machine with the provided configurations. And then on top of that virtual machine, we will be hosting our application, right? Okay, now, so before that, let's see that, yeah. So before running an application, definitely we need some kind of software uh, uh, which is required for running our application. So think that here, suppose we need a Tomcat server. Okay, so we will be requesting virtual machines, and Amazon will create a virtual machine with the provided configuration, and we will be installing the Tomcat in that virtual machine, and then we will be installing hosting our application. So our application will run on the Tomcat server. Okay, so now, so think that there are some end users. Okay, right, yeah. So for the end user, this will come under SaaS. Okay, that means software as a service. So all the end users who have access to the internet, so think that suppose LinkedIn, okay, Facebook, so all these applications are maintained by the uh, by the cloud engineers or the or their organization teams, right? So it doesn't really require like who are going to maintain that. So if I have the internet, if I log in into my into the Facebook, I can make use, I can use that the services provided by the Facebook, right? For all the end users, all these services which are available over the internet will come under this kind of cloud offering, which we call as SaaS, right? Software as a service. But as a cloud engineer, okay, this these things will come under IaaS, that means infrastructure as a service. That means here we are requesting AWS to provide virtual machine with the required configurations, okay, and we are responsible for maintaining this virtual machine, okay. Generally, what exactly maintaining this virtual machine means, generally we will be doing some patchings, right? So we will be doing some patches to fix the vulnerability issues, right? So we are responsible for all those stuff for maintaining this virtual machine, okay. And then we are installing the required software on the top of the virtual machine, and then we are hosting our application. So on a whole, there are, if we see here, this we call it as an infrastructure, this layer one, okay. And on top of that, we install some software, that is the thing which we call it as a platform, okay. Then on top of it, we are running our application. So as a whole, we are responsible for maintaining all these stuff, okay. So we are responsible for maintaining the underlying infrastructure, which is essential for running our application. So if we consider in this case, it will come under IaaS, right? Infrastructure as a service. Suppose think that, so even like if you see here, what we call EC2, right? Yes, EC2. So like as discussed, EC2 is an virtual machine in AWS, okay. So while launching the instance, as discussed, we will be providing all the required configurations, right? So then AWS will provide this virtual machine, okay. It will choose any of the existing physical servers, and then it will provide us this virtual machine. So we are responsible, right? The cloud engineers are responsible for maintaining this maintaining these virtual machines, and also installing this software, required software on top of that virtual machines, right? And also we are running our applications, right? Then suppose think that if we need a database, okay, if we need a database, okay, for running our application, okay. Think that, for example, so if I need a Oracle database, okay, right? So we cannot have a database on a fly, right? So definitely it should be hosted inside a virtual machine, right? Everything is every service, like everything which we are making use of is inside a virtual machine, right? So think that it is inside a virtual machine, okay. It has some 2 GB of RAM, okay, and 4 CPU, something like this, okay. Now there are two things here. One thing is, if I need a database for my application, okay, one thing is I can create my own virtual machine, right? Like how we did here. I can provide the required configurations, then I can create my own virtual machine, then I can install the Oracle database on top of that virtual machine. Then my application can make use of this database. This is one way. If I do all these stuff, like if I am responsible for maintaining all these infrastructure, then definitely it will come under IaaS, right? Infrastructure as a service. There is other way, like cloud is going to provide some platforms where we exactly don't need to create any virtual machine, okay. Just we will request AWS, hey AWS, I need Oracle database, right? That's all. We will provide the configurations for this, like what kind of database we need, that's it. Then the AWS will take care of create, AWS will give us the required Oracle database, right? So how exactly it is giving means, underlying virtual machine is created by AWS itself, okay. It will choose its own virtual machine, okay. It will choose whatever the required operating system it has to be, and what are the required configurations it should be. It will create the virtual machine, and on top of that, AWS will itself install the Oracle, and finally it will give this Oracle database which will be used for our applications, right. In this case it will come under, right, in this case, for example, in this case it will come under PaaS. Okay, PaaS, right, platform as a service. Okay, hope you guys got what I'm trying to say. Okay, IaaS is nothing but infrastructure as a service, where we are responsible for providing the configuration details for our own virtual machine, right? And then we are responsible for installing the software, and then we are hosting our application. So that will come under IaaS. But for no matter what it is, for any end user, all the applications accessible over the internet come under SaaS, right? Software as a service. And what exactly is this PaaS? PaaS is nothing but we just request the Amazon AWS, right? We just request the AWS saying that, hey, I need one database. That's all. We will provide what kind of database it is. We are least bothered about what kind of on which virtual machine it has to be hosted, or what are the configuration of virtual machines. It We just provide what kind of database is it, MySQL or Oracle, like that kind of stuff. Okay, then Amazon will internally create its own virtual machine, right, in any one of the physical servers, and it will install the Oracle database, and it will give that Oracle database to us, right? So here we are making use of platform, AWS platform as a service, right? That's how it is. So for example, as I discussed, EC2 is nothing but IaaS. It will come under infrastructure as a service. Suppose, as discussed here, there is an RDS service provided by AWS, right? Which will come under uh, PaaS, right? So if you see here I'm just trying to create a database. Okay, so here I'm trying to select what kind of database I want. Okay, is it Oracle or is it MySQL, or then I will just create a database here, right? Then Amazon will itself host this virtual machine. Okay, and then on top of that it will create the Oracle database and it will give us. So finally we will be using the Oracle database for our application. Okay, so and another example for this is Elastic, you can say Beanstalk. Okay, Elastic Beanstalk. So if you see here, so here I can choose, suppose for example, Elastic Beanstalk will come under PaaS, platform as a service. Here, if I want the same kind of setup here, right, where I provided the configuration details for virtual machine, and I installed the Tomcat in the virtual machine and then hosted my application. Okay, generally we will be, these applications will be running inside like Docker will be used to run these applications. But as of now, to keep it simple, so all these three things, right, I am responsible for providing the configuration details to tell Amazon like what exactly, how my virtual machine should look like, right? What configurations it should have and what operating system it should have. And then I have to manually install this Tomcat, and then I have to host the application. But if you see here, this one, Elastic Beanstalk, this is kind of a service which we call it as like platform as a service. Okay, where we are not providing any virtual machine details. Okay, we are just saying that, hey, AWS, uh, I need the setup where I need a virtual machine, or I need a setup where where it should have the Tomcat installed. That's all. Okay, then create the application, right? Then what it will do, the Amazon will make this setup. Okay, it will create a virtual machine, okay, by its own, and then it will install the Tomcat, and then it will provide that application. Right now uh, we have all this step one and step two setup. Then we just need to host our application and we can make use of it, right? That's how it works. That is how this PaaS represents, right, platform as a service. So as a brief discussion, I have provided all these things here. I am summarizing the things again. So IaaS, right? Infrastructure as a service, right? If I ask for a virtual machine from Amazon, okay, how I will be asking? Like I will be requesting, saying that during the steps of launching a virtual machine or EC2 instance, there are multiple steps where we will be providing all those details, in which availability zone we want, or in which region we want that virtual machine, okay, and all those details, right? How much storage it should have and what operating system it should have, okay. All those details will be provided. So and we are responsible for maintaining that virtual machine in IaaS, okay, right? So what exactly that means, what exactly that means, right? That means we are responsible for, like, any security vulnerabilities are there. So generally the people will do for every 3 months or every quarter we will be doing some patching work, right? So we should be responsible for maintaining this virtual machine, right? That's how it works in IaaS, right? And another thing is platform as a service. Here we will not launch the virtual machine, okay. Here you will not install the software you want to use, okay. Virtual machine and its operating system are managed by cloud providers, okay. So here in this case, you just say that I already discussed, like RDS, right? Relational database management, right? So here what we are doing, we are just giving the details, like what the kind of database I need, that's all. Like Amazon will take care of creating a virtual machine, and it will take care of installing the required uh, database, and then we can make use of that database, that's all, okay. So here we are not responsible for patching, okay, and all those stuff. Amazon will take care of those, maintaining these virtual machines, okay. We are just making use of the cloud platform as a service, okay. So in the same way, Elastic Beanstalk, okay, here also we are requesting, hey Amazon, like I want a Tomcat to be installed in the application. I want an application where Tomcat has to be installed, that's all. These are the things which I am providing here. Then when we click create application here, now I have this setup, like it will choose its own virtual machine, okay, and Tomcat will be installed, and all those virtual machine maintenance will be taken care by cloud providers, here in this case AWS cloud providers, right? That's all. And another thing is SaaS. So no matter what it is, the end user, the, like, it doesn't really matter what exactly is IaaS or PaaS. For an end user, every application which is accessible over the internet is nothing but SaaS, right? Software as a service, right? So that's what I have mentioned here. So good example for SaaS are Facebook, right? Email, LinkedIn, all right? All the web applications will fall under SaaS, right? Thank you guys for listening this video.